The legend of the Lambton Worm slithers through the tapestry of English folklore like the creature itself, coiling around hills, ensnaring imaginations, and resurrecting age-old dilemmas of duty, defiance, and consequence. Rooted in the landscapes of County Durham and stitched into local consciousness, this tale of a wayward nobleman, a monstrous beast, and an enduring curse reverberates far beyond its medieval soil. As myth, the Lambton Worm offers more than a cautionary parable. It is a mirror held up to the follies of youth, the complexities of redemption, and the unrelenting grip of family legacy. The tale begins not with a dragon, but with a decision. John Lambton, heir to the Lambton estate, shirks his Sunday duty to attend church, choosing instead the river wear and solitude. The act, seemingly trivial, soon becomes fated. From its waters he hauls not a fish, but a grotesque creature, described variously as worm-like, with gaping holes along its head and an otherworldly aura. In fear or disgust, he casts the creature into a nearby well. This moment, the careless discarding of an anomaly plants the seed of the curse, and the creature festers beneath the surface, awaiting a time to emerge. Lambton departs for the Crusades, embracing a traditional arc of masculine heroism, while the creature grows unchecked. Here, the story bifurcates. Lambton in pursuit of foreign valor, and the worm morphing into domestic terror. This division between external conquest and internal negligence sharpens the tale's thematic teeth. While Lambton is abroad, the creature becomes a beast, enormous serpentine, invincible. It coils around Penshaw Hill, drinks the milk of 10 cows a day, and thwarts all attempts at destruction. Notably, the worm possesses regenerative capabilities. When severed, its parts reunite unless cast away into running water. Symbolically, the beast represents not just physical danger, but unresolved transgressions. Actions that once committed cannot be simply erased or undone. In regional lore, the worm ravages the land, snatches children, and exacts tributes of livestock, behavior reminiscent of ancient draconic myths like Fafnir or the Midgard serpent, but tinted with distinctly English pastoral tones. Unlike the dragon of St. George, the Lambton Worm feels less like a fiery outsider and more like a domestic consequence, born of local neglect, nourished by absence. Lambton's return marks the shift from mythic horror to heroic restoration. Armed with experience from the Crusades and motivated by responsibility, he seeks counsel from a wise woman. Her advice is precise. To defeat the worm, he must wear spiked armor and confront it in running water. But the beast is not the only threat. She warns him. Once victorious, he must kill the first living creature he sees, or his family will be cursed for 9 generations. This injunction adds moral complexity. Lambton arranges to see his dog first, intending to spare his family. But in a tragic twist, his father rushes out in joy. Bound by filial duty and human reluctance, Lambton hesitates, and the curse takes root. He slays the dog too late. From here, the tale transforms from external battle to internal consequence, a meditation on the moral cost of choice. The Lambton curse becomes a generational affliction, with family members plagued by misfortune and premature death. This element elevates the myth from a one-time tale to a cyclical pattern, a legacy that punishment once evaded continues to manifest. It echoes other folkloric motifs like the biblical sins of the father or the Greek notion of inherited miasma. Here the worm is only half the threat, the other half is fate itself. Lambton's heroism cannot undo his earlier recklessness, nor can his repentance nullify the need for sacrifice. In this way, the tale becomes a commentary on human limitation and the persistence of guilt. Scholars have debated the origins of the Lambton Worm legend, with possible ties to local memory, Norse mythology, and regional moral instruction. Its continued prominence in County Durham, including songs, theatrical adaptations, and even pub names, attest to its cultural rooting. Unlike imported tales, the Lambton Worm feels localized, its imagery steeped in English countryside and its moral focused on communal consequence. Some interpret the worm as a metaphor for pollution, an unnatural consequence of careless human interaction with nature. The River Wear, in this reading, is both cradle and battleground, a sacred space sullied and later cleansed. Others view the tale through a Christian lens, with Lambton's skipped church service as the original sin and the worm's defeat as a return to grace, albeit scarred with penance. The Lambton Worm shares DNA with several other tales. The Welsh Funk, a lake monster subdued through cunning, mirrors the theme of watery beasts and human interference. The White Worm of Uppsala, the Laidley Worm of Spindleston Hof, and even the Loch Ness Monster, though modernized, tap into the same vein of liminal beastliness, creatures that embody the unknown, the repressed, or the punished. There's also resonance with tales like Beowulf, where the hero battles not just monsters but legacies, but where Beowulf finds glory in slaying Grendel and the dragon, Lambton's glory is compromised. His heroism is tethered to guilt, his victory to a curse. This adds psychological realism that strengthens its allegorical power. In contemporary terms, the Lambton Worm may be reinterpreted as a parable of environmental responsibility, generational trauma, or even unchecked ambition. The worm, once hidden, grows until it cannot be ignored. A pattern echoed in climate change, familial dysfunction, or societal injustice. Lambton's journey illustrates that problems cast away do not disappear. They lurk, mutate, and demand reckoning. For artists and writers, the tale offers rich terrain, the visual drama of the beast coiled around a hill, the moral tension of the post-battle sacrifice, the gloom of ancestral grief. It invites exploration, not just of what happened, but why it still matters. The Lambton Worm slinks across centuries not just as folklore, but as a living metaphor of youth and consequence, of heroism tinged with regret, of family bound by choices made long ago. Whether viewed as a cautionary tale, a redemption arc, or a communal memory, its power lies in its layers. Beneath its scales is a story about the weight of actions, the complexity of legacy, and the enduring hunger for resolution. Like the river that birthed and buried the beast, it flows still, waiting for each generation to cast a new hook and see what rises.